All right, so welcome to this week's What I've Learned. I know it's a little bit late. It's not a Friday. It's actually Saturday night here. I'm in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, where I just got finished presenting a full-day workshop for 16 teachers here. Actually 14 of them were from here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and then we had one teacher who came from Cambodia and one teacher who came from Bangkok for the workshop. So we spent a full day together. The topic of the workshop was physical education with a purpose. So we spent the day together exploring three different ideas mainly. So the first idea was pedagogical principles of physical education, so looking at different ways that we can teach PE, looking at teaching strategies, looking at teaching models, looking at the purpose of PE. Why do we do what we do? They're a really, really fantastic group. One of the best groups that I've had the chance to work with in a full-day workshop. Everybody was really willing to share their ideas, really willing to work together and to dive really deep into some pretty deep and meaningful content. So we talked a lot about physical literacy, and we talked about physical education and physical literacy and how they go hand in hand, and how physical education is one place where physical literacy development takes place, but it's not the only place that physical literacy development takes place. There are a number of other places where physical literacy development can happen outside of school, with families, in the community, and that physical education is one of the main places that it does happen, and that we have a really, really important job in helping students to develop those physical literacy skills. So one of the things that we looked at with that was Dr. Dean Dudley's idea of his model, conceptual model of observed physical literacy. So I want to show you, I'm just going to flip this around so you can see. So in Dr. Dean Dudley's model, he talks about physical literacy having four key areas. He talks about movement competencies, rules, tactics, strategies, and movement, motivational and behavior skills of movement, and personal and social attributes of movement. So we looked at all those four areas, and we looked at how we could plan activities and how we could assess students around those four ideas. And I think that was a really, really good way to frame the workshop, and it helped people to really understand, I guess, how we can get from student experience, which you'll see in a second, to physical literacy. So this was the big idea: is how do we make sure that what the students experience every single day links directly to physical literacy. So we looked a little bit at physical literacy in the first part of the day. Then we looked at planning and how we could go about planning activities for students and designing games for learning. And I think one of the main things that people really enjoyed and took a lot away from in the workshop around pedagogical principles of games. I'm going to try and get that there so you can see. So the idea that we're going to try and sample many games from the same category. We're going to represent games and lead up games that are developmentally appropriate. We're going to exaggerate certain areas of games, maybe rules, boundaries, equipment, and we're going to try and build tactical complexity. And I think those four areas, we did some practical work on those areas, and it really helped some of the participants to think about the way that they design games within their program. So we looked at that, we did some practical stuff, we played some net wall games, we played some invasion games, we played some spike ball. I think of the 15 people that were there, only one or two of them had seen spike ball before, so that was a really cool experience to give them the chance of doing spike ball. And then for the last part of the day, we looked at assessment. We looked at assessment strategies and assessment tools that we can use, and we looked at how we could assess those four key areas of physical literacy that I showed you earlier that Dr. Dean Dudley talked about. So first of all, we looked at how we could assess movement competency. And one of the ways that we did that was through looking at these fundamental movement cards that I created and that I have used. So the front part of the card talks about or has some key vocabulary or words that maybe you want to use when you're helping to teach students, or you can have students teach each other. On the back of the cards, you have success criteria. These are more specific descriptions of the different success criteria for each of those cards. These cards are really, really popular. People really, really like them in the workshop. And good thing for you guys who are online watching, you can get them at iPhys-Ed.com. They've recently been uploaded to our online shop. I'm going to show you in a second where you can get them. So iPhys-Ed.com, so iPhys FMS-Ed.com/shop. Just going to get it up on here so you can see. And you can buy them. There's 3 different versions of them. There's a manipulative version, which you'll see in a second when it comes up, which includes 6 cards of manipulative skills, so things like kicking, throwing, catching, rolling, striking, and dribbling. Then there's the locomotor set, which is running, leaping, galloping, jumping, hopping, and skipping. Both of those sets are $5. However, if you want to save some money, you can go to the full set there, which is $9, so you save $1, and that includes all 12 cards that you can print out and use in your gym straight away. So if you're interested in those resources, that's where you can find them. iPhys-Ed.com/shop. Alright, so then, yeah, the rest of the workshop was really focused on assessment. We looked at some different game assessment tools. So we had some game performance assessment instruments. We looked at some team sport assessment protocols, and we looked also at some heat mapping tools. We still used some Google Form assessments, GIF assessments that were linked to Google Forms, and just ways of collecting data on student learning. So yeah, fantastic day. It was really great day. I really enjoyed spending the day here in Vietnam at Saigon South International School. I want to thank Saigon South and Tina Fosgreen for having me. I want to thank all the people that came to the workshop today, the 15 people that came. This is my last workshop for a little while. I don't have any other workshops planned. I will hopefully be doing some more workshops in the future. However, the next little part of time is really going to be focused on becoming a new dad and spending time with my new baby, and also relocating our new family back to British Columbia, Canada. So I'll be looking for work in that part of the world. If you know of any jobs, please let me know. Looking for work in that part of the world, something related to PE, whether it's in school or whether it's some other area of physical education or physical literacy advocacy. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to everybody, again, who came to the workshop. Thanks for the people that are spending their time checking out this video. And until next week, I'm Nathan Horn from iPhys-Ed.com. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay active. Catch you later.